Iron Husband, and you're watching The Social Media Show. Today we're going to be talking to Kelly Peach, Director of Communications at the St. Patrick's Center, about how her nonprofit benefits from social media.
St. Patrick's Center is Missouri's largest provider of homeless services. We've been around for 27 years this year, and our mission is to build permanent positive change for our homeless and poor neighbors. We have 28 housing, employment, and mental health programs to help us do that, and we see about 9,000 clients and their families each year. I think social media is a necessary headache, technological headache, to push our mission out to the community in a modern world. Really, I know that's not the definition of social media, but it is a bit painstaking, it's very modern, it's very technological, but we feel it's necessary to communicate our mission to a modern world.
Within the past year, St. Patrick's Center has turned to using social media to raise publicity. However, Kelly warns that there are some pitfalls when trying to become social online.
I think probably the biggest shortcoming for doing social media is time. It has added an enormous amount of work to our plate. Another social media shortcoming would be that you have to be fresh. First of all, you have to have something to say, and most nonprofits have a mission that they want to communicate, but how often can you change your message? How often do you have news? How often do you have an event? How often do you want to brag about a program? You got to have a plan, you got to have a message, and then the torture of social media is to be fresh, to stay there and make sure that you're on there enough that you're not annoying people, but then that you're not disappearing so that they're like, oh, there must be nothing going on at St. Patrick's Center, or that you leave people's top of mind.
Despite its shortcomings, social media did help St. Patrick's Center spread the word about their annual Sports Trivia fundraiser.
Because our Sports Trivia Championship is a very visual sports spectacle that includes broadcasters and celebrities, it's got a great social element. So what we decided to do, in addition to party pics and highlight videos, which are traditionally what we would do without social media, we decided to take 3 rounds of trivia from our contest that were very visual. We had a batting stance guy who imitates the baseball batters. We had a bat trick guy who can do some things that would kill other people if they tried it. And then we had a comedian who did a round as Harry Carey. And those were uncensored because there was some things that probably would have needed to be bleeped for the broadcast that we were on. And so we took the uncensored rounds, posted them not on the St. Patrick's Center website because of the censoring issue, put them on Facebook, and we watched our views quadruple over a 2-week period by just pushing them out via email and the other ways that we can reach the comedian and the bat guys. We pushed it out wherever we could, and then we watched, literally our numbers quadrupled over 2 weeks.
And while their online popularity has increased, St. Patrick's Center is always trying to find new ways to make their message more personal.
I do think social media limits you and the ability to have a two-way conversation, and the ask is not personal. Because obviously, they say the best way to the wallet is through the heart. And in social media, how are you reaching people's hearts, So that's why we try to utilize a lot of video, get the visuals going. But how do you have that one-on-one relationship that's so important in fundraising, that people are going to want to get out their checkbook because they know you, they care about you, they see what you're doing, they see how the clients are affected. How do you convey that in a technological space? Some of the lessons that I think that we've learned, you got to think young, okay? We talked about having to have a message, and we all know our mission and we all know how we're going to say it. But when you say it in a newsletter article, it's different than how you're going to say it in 140 characters or less. So you have to think young. You probably don't want your most senior development staff member to be the one who's Facebooking and tweeting, because that's just really not their world. So I'm lucky to have a 20-something working for me, and she does most of our social media. I think you need to be prepared for confusion among your executive officers and your management team, who are going to be the older folks, okay? I've been to meetings and tried to explain what a tweet is, and I have blank faces. So you really are going to have to educate your team as to what your agency is about to do. I think that was really interesting for us to just see the blank stares of, you're going to what? If you don't have a plan, you're going to get really buried in the responsibility that it is to be social on the computer.